This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at a Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Skeletor with the Bonethrone. This is actually more of a unique item for us in this line. Kind of, I guess. Technically, we got a Bonethrone version with the Snake Mountain playset, but this one is obviously scaled for the Masterverse sized, and the Skeletor is also a bit unique, at least on the picture. So on the side of the box, we see a Beastman and a Merman looking more like their original versions, I guess. Although, okay, so Beastman looks more like the original toy. Merman looks like the original concept art for the toy, I guess, or one of the concepts. On the other side, we see Evil Lyn looking kind of sexy, Panther, and Screech. And then on the back of the box, we see a big old snake like for Snake Mountain, which is interesting because it goes all the way to the top here. My pet peeve, though, with this design right here is that it's on the opening. I think design-wise, this would have been nicer to have it on the fold so that when you folded it all the way open, you would see the complete snake. From deep within Snake Mountain, Skeletor rules from the Bonethrone, an ancient artifact crafted by the original inhabitants of Snake Mountain from the poisoned bones of wyverns. The Bonethrone now serves as a conduit for Skeletor's Havoc Staff to seek out and capture the power of Grayskull. Comes unassembled. Warning, this toy produces flashes that may trigger epilepsy in sensitized individuals. Requires 3 AAA batteries, not included. Yeah, I've been noticing that a lot lately with toys, with electronics, is they're not including the batteries, just I think so that they can get around some of the problematic shipping laws for international shipments. We will open this up from the bottom instead of the top. You know, I prepared the flap. They didn't actually prepare the box itself. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. So Skeletor here gets his own box. Although his armor does look like, I want to say it might actually be the same armor that came with the Viking Skeletor. Although I think the head sculpt might be new. And there we see some wyverns and lizards. And we have the same image from the back of the box originally. Then we get the biggest accessory box ever in a Masters of the Universe toy, apparently. Nice, unique bit of artwork there. Very similar to the thing on top of the throne. Just a lot of weird imagery that does fit with Snake Mountain. And it goes all the way around it. So that's cool. So let's go ahead and open this sucker. Oh, I missed the side of the box. I wonder, because it's showing him without the hood, I wonder if his hood actually comes off in this figure. That'll be pretty cool if it does. Okay, like I said, let's go ahead and open this sucker up, and I should have cut the tape. Here we have a little bit of instructional garbage on the side, and another thing tells us to open it. You know, that is actually a pretty nice picture of Skeletor there on the side. I actually kind of like that. But that just gave us a couple extra hands, a slapping hand, and a punching hand. And the coloring is kind of interesting. We've definitely got like the blue base and then some kind of a coating that modifies the color a bit. You know, I didn't think to bring the original Barbarian Skeletor or Viking Skeletor with. So I gotta say, the one thing that's kind of disappointing right off the hand is that this thing does not really attach particularly well to Skeletor. The hope might have been that these little dealies here, the tabs, would actually fit between those and maybe hold it in place better. But as we kind of see, it doesn't really fit on the front particularly well, and those little dealies don't actually sit in the, you know, between the fringes very well. So this figure is mostly designed specifically to have him displayed on the throne, I would say. And this actually may not be the same armor design as the one version of Skeletor that just totally popped out of my head. And we can take his head out of there. Those beady little bright eyes, man. He's also got an articulated jaw. We'll just talk about that real quick. This is actually a really cool Skeletor head. I gotta admit, I really like this one. Now, the only thing that would have made this a little bit better is if those were like kind of like translucent red gems in the eye sockets. But I'm not really going to complain about it because they do stand out pretty well as it is. I wonder if they do a Masterverse Scare Glow besides the one that came with the Revelation stuff. If they would just reuse this head, or if they would create a new skull head for that one. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like it. Now he looks like every anime character that just puts a scarf over their head and ties it around their nose to try to be like a thief. I will say though, trying to get the hood back in place so it looks good is a pain in the ass. So right off the bat, I would recommend, unless you want to display him without the hood, do not pull the hood off this Skeletor. You know that whole idea of instant regret? I am definitely having some instant regret right now. Whatever they did when they manufactured this to get that head in that hood and made it look good, I cannot replicate. Ugh. And with the way I'm gonna have to look at the pictures I took earlier just to try to see. But this just does not look right to me. Dude, I really fucked up on that one. I should not have done that. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over the articulation. Skeletor does have the ball joint, and Jesus, the hood. I am really, really regretting that. yeah, like I said, don't take the hood off unless you plan on keeping it off. That's my suggestion right now if you ordered this figure. All right, we've got a ball joint so we can spin the head around, move it up and down. There's a little bit more give in there because of the hole that the peg is on. Look right, look left. Articulation lies on the arms. Arms hinge up and down. We can spin around. While his regular harness does not really interfere too much, well, actually, let's say it does kind of. It does get stuck in there, not horribly, but it is kind of annoying. We've got a bicep cut. We've got double jointed elbows, which are super stiff on this figure. Although the design on his elbow does make that second joint not quite as nice, I guess. He's got a boob cut, so we can spin him all around on top of there. We can turn his head, or not his head, his waist, all 360. He can kick forward. The skirt is split, so it doesn't interfere too much. He can kick back. Not too far because the butt gets in the way. He can kick out. He does have a thigh cut. And he's got a double jointed knee, so we get a good bend in there. Boot cut. Hinge at the foot, and a peg to spin it on. And all the administrations, that face and that hood are all messed up. Man, seriously, how did they have that hood in there before? Ooh, something to note on my figure at any rate. The seam between in the neck for the front and the back is actually not sealed properly. I wonder if you heat up the hood and put the head in there and then let it like settle back into place, if that would work better. Seriously, the hood now looks just so like, I don't think it looked that bad when I first opened the box, but right now it just looks terrible on him. He does come with his Havoc staff. I believe this is just a reuse from the previous version. And the head spins all around on the post. Now let's check out the Bonethrone, shall we? See how this is packed. It comes with a staff of cod that looks kind of villainous. A little bit more unexpected is it does come with a backdrop. I wonder if this is actually supposed to tap into the throne itself. Of course, we need to put screws in there to install the batteries. You know, most of the time I don't look at instructions, but I think I'll make an exception this time. Okay, so that, oh, that actually comes up, makes a nice display, doesn't it? All right. Let's see what we can do. Three AAA batteries. And we'll put them in now before we put everything else back together. Okay, that works. Not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of the screw-in battery covers. I'm gonna take a real wild guess here that once you put all this together, you are not taking it apart again. All right. So first off, it looks like we are expected to put the butt pad down. We've got these little tab things here sewn into the nylon. And we got these two little slots here. Like so. Now we take the Bonethrone. We got two tabs here and a tab back here. And we got three slots up here to put it in. So I don't hear that locking in place when I do that. So maybe the Bonethrone can come off of there again. Although, what the hell is this? Like, well, I'm thinking about it. This looks like it's supposed to be some kind of insect head. But last I checked, insects don't have bony antennae. You know what I mean? And those teeth, man. What the hell were those back in the day? Because it says wyvern bones, but that's definitely not a wyvern. That is some kind of humanoid thing. Sorry. We have the extra spine piece here. All right, so with this case, we've got kind of two slices in there, and the main thing is we have a little peg hole here, and we have a peg here. So that kind of directs us as to how this is supposed to go on. And we want the little claw thingies pointing upward. Ow. That is kind of painful. You might want to wear gloves when you go to put this in place. Next up, we have the head, which again, this looks more, again, humanoid, not like it should be a wyvern. And just out of curiosity, it is compatible with the ball joints in the figures. So if Skeletor ever defeats He-Man, he can actually put He-Man's head on top of his throne. Now we got these big-ass things. Hard plastic here, soft rubber at the top. And it looks like they are designed exactly the same, so it shouldn't matter. That did click into place. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay. Next up, we have our flame effects. This definitely looks like once we put it in place, it is not coming out again. Though it does look like we can spin it around. Yeah, we can spin it. So you can direct the flames however you want. But they are basically the same design again. That crunching noise, it's both satisfying and scary. Then we have these little snake dealies here, which ultimately are the holders for the Havoc staff and the Staff of Ka. we have specifically, there's a slice in them and 3 holes there. So they are designed to specifically go into the slot here in that manner. So we've got the grips, we've got a guide, and we've got the slice here. So that is the back of our Bonethrone. That is the front of our Bonethrone. As mentioned, you gotta take a little bit of care though when you put the stabs in there. Now, what's interesting to note here also is that there are peg spots for his feet. Oh, I did not mean to do that. So we have him standing on the pegs. Or the next obvious thing to do with him, if his knee joints cooperate. And I did not mean to activate the damn lights while I was doing this. I think when I go to finalize the display for this one, I think I'm going to leave the hood off just because I totally screwed up by taking it off in the first place. And I can't get it to look good again. Or maybe I should watch somebody else's review on this and see if it looked bad to start with and I just didn't realize it before I pulled it off. Of course, you hold down the button for a few seconds and it'll turn that off. But as mentioned before, we have a backdrop. The one issue that I am going to say I have with this setup, though, is simply going to be the whole, like, this just takes up a lot of real estate. We gotta fold these a little bit more here. So we've got the little tabs on the bottom here that you want to slip in. This also looks like, okay, because we gotta fold these in also before we slide it down there. Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots. This is going to be more of a challenge than I thought it would be. Yay! I don't know how much of that I got on film properly. Probably not enough to make it look good. Well, not that it would have looked good anyway, because God, what a pain in the ass. Oh my God. There we go. There is Skeletor on his Bonethrone in the display that's made, and just from a design point of view, why? Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's great that they kind of like designed us a backdrop to go with this whole thing. It's extremely creative, but it doesn't cover the top of the throne, and that's just kind of off-putting. But let's go ahead and turn off the lights and take a look. I wonder how many colors this goes through. I think that brought us back to the beginning. I like the way it kind of waves a bit to give you more of that flaming look. And they don't match up together, which is fine because if it's supposed to be two different sets of flames, that makes sense. I'm not sure how well this is going to pick up in the video though. But we have the yellow red ish color, we have green, we have blue. And it briefly spins onto purple. I should say it briefly sprints through purple to get to the red orange or yellow red. Let's just call it orange. First color. This is a really cool display. I do wish, like I said, they had made the backdrop a little bit taller. Unfortunately, you definitely, well, you do kind of need a slightly darkened area to really see the effects. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you learn from my mistake and don't take the hood off of Skeletor. Yeah, he doesn't look right without the hood either on the throne. Man, I really wish I hadn't done that now. Let me know what you think overall on this one. Is this something you want? Like, actually, more importantly, is this something that once seeing this makes you kind of want to get it? Because I know, I mean, I've been buying all the Masterverse stuff anyway, because I just like Masters of the Universe. But at the price, because this was like, what, $65 or $70, I believe? This was a huge chunk of change and kind of painful to purchase. The only other thing we're kind of missing with this, by the way, is that for the lighting, I'm surprised they didn't actually have it where it felt where you had one more choice and it would just go through the colors, you know, because we have it sit on yellow or orange. Just go with orange. We'll have it sit on orange. We'll have it sit on green. It'll sit on blue. But it doesn't cycle through them on their own. Or does it? Wait. No, that just changed color. That would have been kind of cool if they'd had a cycle through also. Feel free to throw in a subscription to my channel. I would certainly appreciate it. Let's see real quick if my suspicions were correct. Those aren't coming out. That's not coming out. Those aren't coming out. Bonethrone apparently isn't coming out. So yes, I would think I was correct. This is designed not to come apart afterwards. Peace and love.